We roam the still, cold world. No horizon in sight. The rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wraith, and welcome to an episode of In the Mist, the series where I talk about a game I'm in the midst of playing and the impression it gives. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. As you can see, I'm playing this in the background. This is Frostpunk, and it was a game made and published by 11-Bit Studios, and it was released on the 24th of April, 2018. Naturally, I'm a little bit late for this one, but not as late as I usually am. Now, what have we got here? We've got a serious accident. There's been an accident. An automaton has stepped on a man. People argue that they walk slowly and carefully, even at the efficiency. Oh, man. We have to drop them by 10%. Alright. So, Frostpunk is basically a steampunk city-building survival game. And it takes place in an alternate timeline in the year 1886. So, during the summer, there were snowstorms and frost, which led to a lot of the crops failing and millions of people dying. And the gist is that you play as a captain, or in this case a leader of a group of survivors, and you have to build and maintain the last city on Earth. So this is my little city here that you can see. Okay, so we've got a huge crowd, reached our main city, we've never survived. So let's see, so we've got 70 people, only the healthy ones. Ooh. Okay, we're going to take on 70 people. And this is where it's really interesting. So firstly, I'll talk about some of the UI, because you kind of need to know some of it to understand a little bit about this game. It's very similar to other city building games, but for me, I find it more simple and easier to understand. So obviously over here you can see our resources and stuff. You've got your coal here, which is like very vital to powering your generator and generating heat, because the game revolves around a lot of frost, as you can see, a lot of snow. So cold is a big issue. You've got your wood, your steel, steam cores, you've got your food, and then prosthetics. And then you've got your temperature gauge here as well, which you do have to monitor a lot. So again, cold is a very, very big factor in this game. It's something that you're constantly fighting against. You're constantly surviving against that cold. And if I click this, I really like this. If you click this, it's got kind of a heat map, so you can actually see how well you're doing, like how well you've heated your city up, and I really like that a lot. That's a promise that you kind of get. So over here we've got our technology tree. There's quite a fair bit to research. You've got different categories, obviously heat, exploration, resources, and food and health. And each tree has stuff that you can research that will either unlock upgrades or unlock better versions of buildings, or even just unlock new buildings and stuff for you to build in general. So like stuff like the coal thumper, the sawmill, and steelworks, they have to be researched. They're not unlocked by default. Then you've got like your bunkhouse and housing, which gives better heating for your people. And then you've got different tiers that you can research. So I've actually unlocked all 5 tiers as well. Then over here we've got our building, our construction, which I have a tendency to close too often. You can see I've unlocked a few things, and it's very simple. It tells you how much it's going to cost. So this tent would cost me 10 wood. Its base heating is level 1. So it's not very good. You've got your health, which is like medical stuff, your food, your resources, your technological based stuff as well. And then your order, which is something I may get into. This is basically allows you to have police and stuff watching your town, which I found really cool. Building streets took me a while to find this, but you can just build streets like normal. And you'll notice here that this is all on a grid. You can only build on a grid. It's a weird kind of grid. But I don't think it's too bad. I actually don't mind it. I think it kind of helps me figure out where things can go, which is something I have trouble with in a lot of strategy games, is just placing things in the right spot, and then eventually I realize I've done it wrong, which I kind of still have. There's some areas where you can see over here, see that gap there? It shouldn't be there. So I'm just going to put this house over here. I think it helps it helps to keep things cleaner. So I like that they did that this way. And yeah, if you click on the buildings, you can actually see how much resources it's producing. You can see whether it's connected, how long it's going to be constructed. So that was really nice. Then over here, this is the part that gets really interesting, the Book of Laws. So this actually allows you to set laws in motion, and this was one of the parts that intrigued me. I won't get too much into that just yet. I do want to discuss that. I actually want to point out that I have had very few issues with the game. I have tried to play the game a few times on the normal setting, and I kept failing. So I decided to try it on easy, and as you can see, I'm doing a lot better. But even then, the game still pushes back. It still hits you with a lot of difficult situations. And you'll notice that down here I've got discontent and hope. These are two of the primary things that you have to manage very carefully. So discontent needs to be low, and hope needs to be high. And this is what intrigued me, was the dark and gritty stuff comes down to the decisions. So let me pause this so that I don't screw anything up by accident. But yeah, the decision making in this is very intriguing, because if you go to the Book of Laws, this is where you basically set laws in motion as a leader, and you can't undo them. So as you can see here, in adaptation, I've got child shelters and medic apprentices. So what that means is you actually have you see up here, you've got the option for child labor. So you can actually choose whether to force the children into child labor or build shelters for them. And as you can see here, I opted to build shelters, which means that it increases hope. And then the downside, the negative effect, is that I have to build a child shelter, which is a pretty good negative side effect. I don't lose any hope. I don't gain any discontent. And then I decided to push it a bit further and make them medic apprentices. So instead of forcing them into labor, they've become medic apprentices, which actually helps the medical facilities in the city. And I thought that was really cool. And then you've got your cemetery as well. You actually have to choose between whether you want to build a cemetery or literally just build a pit that you can throw the bodies in. Then you've got like more medical based laws that you can put in place. Like I've chosen to opt for the people that are gravely ill going under amputation instead of just being looked after. You've got an option to just look after them in the homes, but it'll chew up resources and they're virtually just useless. And then I opened a care home for them so that I can move them out of the medical facilities and basically free that space up for other ill patients. And then you can even get prosthetics for them so that they can even go back to work, it's really cool. It's a really interesting concept that they have. I kind of like this because it gives you the ability to sort of manage your people. You sort of set a law in motion and sort of let it do the rest from there, in a sense, which I found really cool. But yeah, I'm gonna quickly save. The save games in this are atrociously big, so I need to delete some of these so that the cloud sync is good. So one thing I also forgot to showcase, you might have seen these little pop-ups happening here, yeah? So what I'm gonna do... Oh yeah, so firstly, before I do that, I haven't made notes. What's going on here? Has the game bugged? What the fuck's happening here? Anyways, you'll notice here that there's like a day 33. That's how long you've been playing for. Not in real time, obviously. And it will tell you when the temperature is likely to drop and when it's likely to increase. So you see here, it's going to drop one level, which means it's going to drop 10 degrees. And then later on, it's going to drop another level. So it's going to drop another 10 degrees. So the temperature is going to drop down to 80 degrees, which means this area all here is going to get significantly colder. And you'll see that it can go from comfortable all the way to freezing. I like this. I like just how easy it is to understand this. For me, city building games are they're really complex and they put me off. And obviously I can speed up time as well. You can just press buttons or you can click on it. What we're going to do is we're going to... Shit, I've got 20 injured. 20 sick. Well, that's no good. I've got my engineers... Oh dear. Yeah, see, people die and you sort of have to check on your buildings and stuff to make sure to make sure that they're still functioning. Alright, so we're gonna click on this. So here we go. I've sent scouts out, so you can see I've explored. It's a pretty big little map here that you can see. So I'm gonna click on explore. It's not very story, like it's got story, but it's delivered in this sort of sense. You've got all this text to read. So we talked to the children. They said that their night with the teachers and took them out of winter home on a secret adventure. Teachers told them they were going to stay here for a while. See what I mean? This is what I mean about the dark and gritty side of these type of games that 11-bit studios make. They ran low on food. Their guardians went back to get more and didn't return. It seems the kids were evacuated in time before things in their city got really ugly. I personally think that the kids were actually left here. You know? So, and this is where the decision gets worse here as well. You can take them all in. So I have the option. I can take in 35 children that will be virtually useless. I can let them all walk back and essentially thin out the herd. Or I can leave them here. Just let them all die. But I'm going to take them in because I am a merciful god. Yes, I am. And I'm going to go over here. I've created an outpost. Now, what's this? What's going on here? Oh, I forgot I had another scouting team. So we're going to take a look here. Got a huge ship that's been dismantled. Yeah, we found something in the year 1888. May God preserve your soul. Oh, we found Tesla City. Excellent. But you're going to come back first. So yeah, that's pretty much the gameplay in general. And it kind of... I've been enjoying it. I think I've clocked about just about 7 hours now. And I've been enjoying it. It's really good. It's really intriguing. That dark side of it, I kind of like sort of seeing what's going to play out. You know, it's just really good. It's surprisingly good for a type of genre that I'm not necessarily heavily into. Okay, so here I'm going to start a new game. So before I do that, I want to actually say that I did play this War of Mine, and it seems that 11-bit studios kind of have a good theme going on here. Their games are hard because they always put the player in a predicament that messes with your mind a little. And that's why I'm going to show you this. So we're going to do a new home. So we're going to start again. And we're going to customize the scenario. So this is where you can choose the difficulty. I was playing on easy before, because I tried it on medium and it just got... like, it was hard. Like, even on medium, I was struggling. But that's also because I'm not very good at these kind of games. But I'm just going to show this off just so you can see the cutscenes. And while the loading screen is happening there, I just want to take a moment to thank 11-bit Studios in advance for allowing me to showcase this video.
We roam the still, cold world. No horizon in sight.
No subtitles. I'm sorry.
The rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday we were turning the wheels of progress. Until the frost stopped it all. Suddenly, without a warning. When tides had changed, they changed for all of us, no matter wealth or class. They've lost our world to snow. And with it, our last traces of humanity. We bid farewell to plenty, and for those who remained came the time to adapt. We decided to leave our homes and head north. We roamed for weeks, maybe months, leaving behind all the things we once believed had made us. It was hope that pushed us forward. Slowly, step by step. We knew the cost of our journey, and we paid the price 100 times. Finally, the time has come to build the last city on Earth.
This voiceover actor sounds very familiar. But yeah, as I was saying, I want to take a moment to thank 11-Bit Studios. I also want to thank each and every one of you for watching this far. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when I release more. And you can check the description of this video for more links on where you can find me and links to more information on this game. If you want to purchase it or get more info, that's in the description as well. And this is one of the campaigns, A New Home. So we fled London, and we hit a blizzard, and whatever. And now everything we know has crumbled in it. That was my attempt at a British accent. I'm never going to do that again. But yeah, one thing that they are doing is that they've got multiple campaigns that you could see when I chose the scenario. Okay, so yeah, so here we go, fight the cold. That's pretty much the whole game, is fighting the cold. What I want to do here, quickly get a bunch of workers on as much crap as I possibly can and use what little resources I have to build some houses. And we'll let that play in the background. So yeah, there's going to be that you can unlock multiple scenarios. So the further you play into the game, the more scenarios you unlock. I think day 20 is where you unlock the first one. And I think maybe day 40 you unlock another one. But they are also possibly adding more campaigns, which I think is really interesting. So if you're not going to be limited to just the one campaign and content in this game, which I think is really cool. But yeah, this is it. This is what the start of the game looks like. It's very, very basic. Not much is happening. Oh, did I get them to go for steel? I did. But yeah, now, something else I want to take a quick look at is the economy window. Now, in a city builder game, or any sort of strategy game, stuff like this would really put me off. What's this? Oh, that I did. Oh, I didn't notice that. So stuff like this, graphs and numbers and all that sort of crap would really put me off. But in this, I feel like 11-Bit Studios has kind of made it accessible to people who are not so good at these kind of games, and I really appreciate that, because I feel like a lot of strategy games are mainly just, well, I mean, they're strategy, yes, so they're going to be aimed at people that have that strategic way of thinking, obviously. And then there are obviously people who maybe might not be good at it, but they still get some joy out of it. But I like this because this menu allows me to see what's going on. And it's very simple. This tells you how much coal you're gaining per day and how much coal you're consuming per day. And it's very simple. As long as this is in the positive and this is in the negative, you are fine. If this is in the negative and this is in the positive, you are not fine. Very simple. It's got it for food. It's got health. If you've got too many untreated citizens and citizens in treatment, then you know something's wrong. You need to have better medical stuff. And this also tells you how many homes you have and how many citizens are homeless. So, you know, it's a really easy city building. It's a really easy menu to understand, basically. And I love that. I feel like I could play this for a very long time and not get bored of it, and, you know, not find that I'm struggling purely because I'm not understanding something. I feel like the struggle is actually coming from where it should be. The environment, the world itself is pushing back against me. You know, they've done that survival element of it very well. They haven't just made it like, you know, focus on all these numbers and shit. Otherwise, you know, you can't play properly. But you can kind of just go in and guess everything. You don't really need tutorials, but they do have them here. You can open them and read over stuff. I think that's really handy to have as well, and they'll pop up as you're playing the game. So yeah, that's all I have time for this particular video. I hopefully you enjoyed watching that. Please let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the video, what you thought of the video, what you think of this game. Let me know if you think you might get this as well. If you think that this is an interesting city builder game, I would really like to know. And as usual, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video.